Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Everything is fine here on Detention Black AA23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Bogey, here to talk all things Star Wars with all you fans out there. If you're listening to us right now, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, rate, review, share, all the above. We greatly appreciate it. Any little thing you can do, because it definitely helps get our channel's name out there amongst all the other Star Wars channels, which there are quite a few, as I'm sure you're aware of. As a reminder, once we hit 500 subscribers, we will be giving a prize giveaway. We're looking to give a Theory Saber lightsaber away. To note, Theory Saber or Star Wars Theory is not affiliated with the giveaway. This is all our doing. We purchased it with the intentions of giving it away as a prize. So you're not going to want to miss a Theory Saber lightsaber giveaway. It's one of the good ones. You can duel with it, makes great noise, great color, and everything. So, and
Wall decor.
yeah, I got some behind
Look at
me.
that.
I know I need to charge them again so I can turn them off for our stream, but I haven't recently. But yeah, and then you can see the one that we're going to be giving away is right in this area. It's not necessarily that one, but there's like 4 or 5 boxes here, and one of those boxes is what we'll be sending with the lightsaber in it, maybe along with Bogey's plastic one as well, autographed by yours truly. He might put a little message on there. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, we want to give away some prizes, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also, if you're listening to us, jump in the chat, voice your opinion, give us some thoughts. We like bringing you in as part of the show just as much as Bogey and I are here. So that's one of the fun parts is talking with all the fans. But today, I think we've got 2 major topics we want to cover. I gave Bogey his homework for last week, and he came through in the clutch, watching first 2 episodes of the Ninth Jedi. So we will kind of talk through those. But before we get to that, we had some technical problems last week on our channel. So the audio, for some reason, was not picking up. It was picking up in all of our tests, but when we actually went rolling, the only time it did work was when we were watching the trailer and when we had the trailer up for the Ninth Jedi. So it missed out all of our talk on VADER II and some other stuff. So I really want to give praise to Star Wars Theory for the episode VADER II, because it was absolutely glorious and it deserves recognition. As I've mentioned before, Star Wars Theory is one of the inspirations to the creation of this channel. So I remember watching him years ago and thinking it was so cool to be able to have like a channel and talking Star Wars, and he was having so much fun with it that I wanted to have my own similar channel that I started with a couple of friends. And I mean, by no means are we anywhere near the level of Star Wars Theory in terms of subscribers or anything, but we don't need to be. That's not the point of our channel. The point of this is just to have fun talking about Star Wars. So but I just want to give again praise to Star Wars Theory for first the inspiration, and second just making some awesome content between the first 2 episodes he made. So the recent one, again, VADER II, which is Echoes of the Jedi. The first one was Shards of the Past, which the first one was live action, more like real people acting it out along with some CGI and everything. VADER Episode 2 was all CGI and computer animation, and I think it really fit and it really worked with this. So I know, Bogey, you watched it as well. What are your thoughts on the episode?
You talking about Vader?
Yeah, Vader.
Vader. Yeah, because I had seen the first one long ago, so I rewatched that one going into the second one, and it was kind of funny. I came across an interview too. Who's the kind of like the lead of Star Wars Theory?
What's his name?
Yeah.
It's terrible that I'm forgetting his name. I'll look it up. But he's just, people call him Theory for short.
Okay. Because I saw an interview with him and how he started his podcast kind of like Loki, like this, and he just got kind of going at it with new ideas to create kind of, fun viewing, I guess.
Yeah.
while talking Star Wars, and that's how it eventually came into props, which then led him to, open his series of, for those lightsabers. So kind
Yeah.
of an interesting kind of backstory of his. And then you were telling me, because I was like, well, that's kind of weird because the first one was mostly live action, and then they went full CGI because I thought they did a pretty good job with the live action. What you said, a mix of CGI with like blaster fire and whatnot in the lightsaber work, but the second one, when they went CGI, he said maybe it was a good idea because it looks like what happened was they were kind of halfway through production with making it live with some CGI and
Sure.
whatnot, and then COVID happened is pretty much the reason why everything kind of got pushed back. Having availability to like come together and film and collaborate, and then plus then it's like okay, with gaps and then restrictions with COVID and travel, kind of like it's like some people are like okay, let's say this month we work hard on this, and then like the other half crew is like, well, we can't. That doesn't work for our schedule. It was just like really a mess. So then the lead guy, he was kind of like, well, that's just goes full CGI, and everybody's remote, kind of working together to put this together. And he said probably was a blessing in disguise because then you don't have to worry about what they had for first person was just a single camera.
Yeah.
Imagine us trying to film like something like that in our backyard. It's like, yo, go grab the camcorder. Can they fit a VHS still? No, that'd be our style. Um, but no, where then the CGI they can do this like full 360 camera movement where you don't even see the camera because it's all computer animated, and then like kind of the more details and like the spacing to have like that fight scene with all the Jedi against or the stormtroopers and Vader when he shows up, like that huge kind of like I don't know what was that like where the hallway led to, like a giant
We're on Naboo. It's like a
yeah, giant
cathedral
circle.
almost.
Yeah, where they all had the showdown. He's like, yeah, we definitely would not have been able to find like a set piece that could recreate that. So he's like, maybe it was a good idea to expand your horizon on what you can film and what you can present, and then especially how you can. Spoiler if you haven't seen it, Mace Windu shows up at the very end. I don't think you're gonna get Samuel L. Jackson to come do a little pity backyard video like that.
I don't know. After watching, if he watches that episode, he might be like, "Oh, there's something to this here. There's something here."
Yeah.
And I wonder if Samuel L. Jackson will. First of all, I wonder if he actually will see it. I would suspect that he might. Two, if he sees it, does it give him like any like want or inkling to come back and re-portray Mace Windu? And I think he's expressed in the past that he would love to. I'm sure his one requirement is I still need my purple lightsaber with what is it he have on it? Like badass motherfucker or something.
Yeah, what he has on his wallet in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he's got it engraved on the lightsaber. I think it's just an acronym for it, but either way, that's pretty cool. The creator of Star Wars Theory's name is Niatus or just Tus. So, but again, most people just refer to him as Theory. That's kind of his known name. At least fans call him Theory. Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, going to the animated route really helped because I felt this one's presentation was better than the first episode. They're both good, but the second one just kind of struck a little better. The first one there's a little sense of it being kind of a fan film. I think it's more like when you see like the Emperor and everything. Of course, when you see Darth Vader, he's in a full suit, so you can pass that. But it's always a challenge when you do like actor substitutions or something for a character because it's a little bit more noticeable. So that kind of made it a little bit of a challenge. But with the animation, you have so much more control over everything because like even the portrayal of Samuel L. Jackson's character Mace Windu looked great, and he was freaking badass in this. I mean, he had his war scars, he had like his eye grayed out, burn marks from the lightning, and he was kind of on the dark side a little bit, like teetering with dark side capabilities or powers through the Force. Just to the point of Samuel L. Jackson, he was a badass motherfucker in it. So,
yep.
But it starts. It kind of picks up where episode 1 leaves off. It's the clone troopers. They're going into Naboo, like the cathedral setting or whatnot. And as they're kind of exploring, trying to find Jedi, I think they're looking for Mace Windu, and they happen to come across actually multiple Jedi. There were probably I think we figured out there was about 10 or 12 of them, and they the clone troopers kind of got manhandled a little bit. Like, I mean, Darth Vader did come in, which you first see Darth Vader, so he drops in, and then like there's fire that he's seeing all around him. I was trying to understand, was that like a force projection almost?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was Mace Windu doing that? Because he was like, Vader was like, "Nice try" or something, like your tricks won't work on me or something like that.
Yeah, I guess I don't recall. I thought he was having kind of just visions as they continue over from episode 1,
Yeah,
having these kind of like clouded visions and how he was not received what he promised from the Emperor, was to say Padme.
yeah,
Just that conflicting. It's like the Anakin
yeah,
Vader, like he's slowly becoming Vader. So that's why I think that's why Mace Windu messes with him later on. What we talked about, what he said to him,
yeah,
you know, because he knows, he's like, I sense Anakin in there, and he's pissed off, like kind of just egging him on a little bit.
yep,
So at least that's what I saw someone kind of like mention that when they were breaking it down. I was like, oh, it's an interesting thought. Yeah.
yeah. Um, it's that's originally what my thought was too, that it was just a vision type of thing, but it was just that one line when he said something along that, and maybe he was talking to himself, like Anakin, like
Oh,
maybe it
yeah.
was Anakin kind of trying to reach out. So that it could have been either or. Um, so Vader then does reach his clone troopers, meet up with them, and kind of evens out the battle a little bit. And there was the one like Padawan Jedi that was getting really pissed, and he was also kind of reaching in dark side. I mean, there was that kill move he made with that one clone trooper where he I forget if he raised him first or if he just threw his, or no, he was like taking the gun out of his arm, and it was like hyperextending the arm,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was like raising him, and then he like chucked his lightsaber through him, and then he force pulled him back and pulled out the lightsaber. And you kind of see
Yep.
like the master in the background, kind of, at least we're assumed to believe it's the master, we don't know, kind of keeping an eye like, ooh, you're flirting with the dark side here. That's not the way we roll. Um, and it gets to the point where, well, actually, this precedes that. Vader joins when they have the 3 clones held as hostage, right? That's when he
Yep.
approaches. There's 3 clones with 3 Jedi behind him with a lightsaber at their neck, and the Jedi are like trying to bargain with him. Then the one clone trooper is like, you can't bargain with this guy. That's not gonna work. And as a result, Vader just detonates some of the thermal detonators from the clone troopers, like raises them in the air and explodes them, which kills the clone troopers and the Jedi that were holding those clones hostage. And then that's when the fight starts breaking out and everything. And then Vader eventually gets reinforcements, right? That includes, because originally he was fighting with his 501st, and the reinforcements, they were like red and white clone troopers along with like death troopers, which death troopers are freaking badass and big time trouble when it comes to Jedi. And a few of the Jedi get taken out in that battle. It falls down to a couple more, and then Darth Vader is toying with that one young Padawan because I think he senses the dark side in him, and he's like, um, said something along the lines like, "You won't reach your full potential following the Jedi. They won't get you to where you want to be." And he doesn't kill him or anything. Um, then he starts like force choking him, and then the Master comes in to kind of distract him, Vader, from killing him. and long story short, ends up killing the master with the Padawan's lightsaber. So as the was the master running in, and Vader just kind of forced things and like chucks it right into him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
And then he just takes the saber out and then just like flings it back over to the
Yeah,
Padawan.
he flings it back to him. Yeah.
So the Padawan, if he wants to continue the battle, he has to use the lightsaber that just was used to kill his master. Again, all just kind of building up his dark side passion, I guess you could say. It comes down to 5 Jedi, and the clones and Vader have them all, they circled the wagons around him. And you could tell that the Jedi are starting to feel afraid, because Vader then kind of approaches and he goes to get his lightsaber, and you see like they pan back to the Jedi and they kind of like coil back a little bit. But then Vader stops and then he turns the other way, and he's sensing something. And as fans, we knew what was coming, because they kind of showed him in episode 1. They showed the saber color, and then they said his name earlier in the episode. You knew it was Mace Windu coming. And sure enough, this cloaked figure starts approaching, and you can tell it's Mace Windu. And I think it was like, his cloak was dark. I mean, it wasn't black, I would say, but it also had some like shiny trim to it and everything. Just looking like a badass motherfucker. And then he comes and he confronts Vader, and the dialogue in this was top notch, because Vader first told Mace, he's like, all these deaths will like contribute to your failure for the Jedi. All these Jedi deaths will contribute to the failure of the Jedi. And Mace was like, the death of your wife and your mother will be yours. It's like, damn, son. Like, I think I literally was watching that. I was like, oh shit.
Like,
yeah,
shit.
That meme where you just see that guy like, oh, and it falls over and it just keeps repeating. And it is important to mention too, before that, Mace Windu referred to him as Skywalker. So that also pisses Vader off, because to Vader, Skywalker no longer exists, and just mentioning that name will set him off. And Mace Windu knew what he was doing. He was trying to press his buttons.
Yeah, trying to troll him.
Yep, troll him for sure. And it worked. And it was also badass because when he first came in, he force pushed Vader and he flew all the way back. Went like hit through the column and everything, and then that's when the team like started killing out all the rest of the clone troopers. And then when Vader came back, he tried force pushing Mace and didn't even move him. The other Jedi kind of got pushed back just a little bit, but Mace didn't even flinch at all. He was just, dug deep like a big tree with its roots. And so fascinating to see Vader get force pushed extremely far and Mace Windu not even get touched, essentially. You can see that the Jedi, Mace Windu kind of steps in front and is leading the way. They all have their lightsabers ignited, and then Mace, after the confrontation, ignites his, and you can see the Jedi are feeling more confident. And then Vader goes, and you hear the ignition of his with a little glimpse of like red, and then the episode cut out. So we're going to have to wait until episode 3 to see the actual duel. And if I recall, Star Wars Theory said that this episode will come out a lot sooner than how long it took to get episode 2. So hopefully like in a year and a half or something, we will get the next one. And I know it was only between 20 and 25 minutes, but I mean, talk about getting what Star Wars fans want to see, at least from my point of view. I mean, it was brutal, it was dark, it was dramatic. Fighting was great. Force use, lightsaber dueling, Vader. I mean, you can't go wrong with Vader or Mace Windu. It's frustrating that a fan can create a film that's 10 times better, 100 times better than most of the stuff we've been getting out of Disney.
Mhm.
Now, I don't ever see Disney going to that. Well, maybe they would. I mean, Rogue One was a pretty dark movie and pretty violent.
I mean, we talked about some of their recent projects have
Yeah,
a, at moments, either if it's not, even we say Rogue One and or definitely is a darker adult kind of
yep.
theme to it. I don't know. Would you consider Mandalorian in a mix? You got bounty hunting and kind of. I know it has its moments of cheesiness. Once you got,
There are
Grogu.
glimpses in Mandalorian. There are glimpses. I mean, I think of the first episode, especially
Yeah,
earlier on, where he
yeah.
slices the guy in half through the door. I mean, that's pretty violent.
The Book of well, Mandalorian 2.5 they call
2.5.
it. Yeah, they stole like 2 episodes from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. When Mando
Yeah,
first came in and was like cutting people up in the meat factory or whatever.
with the dark saber. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll give that. Like, there are elements and glimpses of it.
So
Um,
they've teased themselves, dipping their toes in that kind of. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Is Disney a little scared to go too dark or something like this fan film? But I mean, we love to see it, but just everybody, who knows?
I I mean, if I have a hard time believing that. I mean, of course, like kids, it might be too much for kids or something like that. But if there's a Star Wars fan that has never seen anything outside of like the original movies, eventually just saw this, I would have a hard time believing, or I should say, and the prequels, I would have a hard time believing that they wouldn't like that, you know? And if you don't,
Yeah,
it's because of preconceived thoughts or, you know, whether you agree with something or not. But in terms of just the actual film, like, what is there not to like about this Vader episode 2? I mean, if you're watching us and you didn't like us, or didn't like it. If you didn't like us, let us know. No, if you didn't like Vader episode 2,
well, you
please
can just go watch something else.
go watch something else.
No negativity here.
No negativity. If you didn't like it, I'd be curious to understand what is it that you didn't like about this episode. Again, it's not canon by any means. That's going to be the theme for what we talk about today, non-canon.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so just purely based off of what you're watching, the quality of what you're watching, how you felt watching it. Like, if you didn't like it, let us know. I'd be curious for your reasons. Um, and I know you've expressed you would love to see like a Vader show put on by Disney. If they did something like that, is this the level of Vader you want to see in terms of violence and darkness and everything?
yeah. I'd like to see like that backstory of Vader. When he's, I don't know, by New Hope. I guess you can look at it. How old is Luke in New Hope?
Late teens, probably.
So that's, I mean, so
Y-
let's say 15 or 16, maybe.
Okay.
That means that's technically how many years Vader's been with Palpatine.
Yeah.
How about those early years? Because it looks like they teeter tot with some of this maybe theories of what happened. Like Vader again, when I said before, was not granted what he was promised.
Yep.
When he was following Palpatine, I can give you the power to save the ones you love. That didn't happen.
Right.
Okay, how do you imagine? Because I think in Vader, doesn't that kind of what toys with him is like this internal conflict of like, he lied to you and you're just a puppet to him, to Palpatine. Like, just let's rid him out and we take over. Like his inner conscious is like fighting with himself.
Yep.
Like, and this whole like conflict again is like, does he hate Palpatine? Because it kind of like tricked him down this path that actually was the main cause why Padme lost the will to live.
Yep.
Your favorite part.
Worst death ever. Badass like Padme. Oh, I lost my will to live. Sorry.
So, yeah. Anyways, yeah,
Yeah, I would definitely love seeing a Vader show. It would have to be dark. It would have to be gritty. It would have to be about death and destruction, violence, because that's who he is. I mean, that's literally the epitome of this character at this point. You think of Vader, you think of destruction, you think of power, you think of death. And yeah, and I think they can do it. The question is if they will, because a lot of scrutiny will come with it potentially if you don't.
That's why if you do it wrong, well, that's not going to be good for a while.
It's very risky,
yeah.
which is why just let Theory do it. Just let Theory do it. He knows how to do
Yeah.
it.
Add him to the list with Dave Filoni and John Favreau.
Yeah,
we trust in you.
absolutely. And like, just go through his, some of his older stuff or even current stuff when he talks about, when he goes deep into like Star Wars. I mean, that's what his channel's name was, Star Wars Theory. It was all, a lot of theories. It was a lot of analysis,
Speculations.
whether he did what ifs and stuff like that. But he also did very good job of like bringing out actual historic evidence or historic things and the meaning behind them of Star Wars content. So, I mean, he would dive into comic books, movies, and shows, of course, but anything you can think of Star Wars, whether it was canon or not, he dove into it, and he had a expanse knowledge of it. So it really comes through when he does something like this with Vader. He truly understands the relationship Vader has with himself, meaning Anakin, with someone like Mace Windu, and all the characters involved. So, cool stuff. And I do think if someone scrutinizes like Mace Windu wouldn't have been able to be that powerful against Vader, well, you have to remember that Mace Windu technically defeated or beat the Emperor, and the Emperor at this point is stronger than Vader. So if Mace could defeat Palpatine, he could defeat Vader. The only reason why Mace Windu ended up losing that battle or fight with Palpatine is because Anakin came in and, surprisingly defended the Emperor. So Mace did not see that coming. All right. Anything else with Vader 2 that you want to speak to?
No, like I said, it's great when you get a chance to check it out and support Saber Theory and his his work. I'm sure on top of all that, like I said, that must have been hard. Just like saying, "Oh, we just got to can this whole COVID." All the work that we've been doing, but it kind of just opened the door for a new opportunity, and he pursued that. And look how great that was. Now, granted, maybe it took that long to find the right people to work with him and to recreate his image of what his vision was. That took time, but now if he's got a whole kind of staff set up and they've done this before, they've done the second movie or the second fan movie. They're now for the third time around. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
They've learned from any sort of mistakes or errors or whatever. So
for sure.
So yeah, I definitely look forward to when they release the next one. Will be, if they. But I do gotta say though, don't rush it though.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity. Like you got to take your time. Take your time. Make it as great as the second. Make it better than the second one.
Well, and I have faith that he will, because he already did that with the second one. Because they could have rushed it to try and get something out. They could have, followed with the quantity portion of it, like get it out as soon as we can versus, the quality. But he was like, no, there's only one way to do this, and it's the right way, and it's going to take as long as it needs to before it comes out to make sure we have it right. So I have faith that he will do that. All right, the next thing we want to talk about, I know these just recently dropped, so I will put the spoiler tag right here, right now. Spoiler, we will be talking about episodes 1 and 2 of the Ninth Jedi. So we just watched those episodes this week. If you recall from our previous episode, we talked about we'll do 2 at a time. There's 8 total episodes, so we'll expand this over hopefully 4 weeks. Touching in on 2 episodes each time. So the 2 episodes of the Ninth Jedi are episode 1, A New Threat, and then episode 2, A Hidden Weapon. And what I thought was fascinating too is it still had the Visions tag at the beginning. Did you notice that?
Yep.
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
right now I pull it up and I don't know, they might have fixed it.
oh, did they pull? Well, because when it first, like opening credits, they showed or flashed Visions, which, I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, yep.
understandably, because this show spawned from Visions. So there were 2 episodes in the 3 seasons of Visions that were associated with the Ninth Jedi, and they picked one of those shows to kind of do continuation, do a whole season centered around it. They might do a couple seasons. I can't remember what they said on that, but it will at least, we are at least getting one, which the 8 episodes have been released. But just thought it was fascinating that they're still like putting that Visions tag. So I guess we call this Visions, the Ninth Jedi, episodes 1 and 2, maybe. I don't know,
Oh yeah.
potentially, but before diving too deep into them, I will say I was pleasantly surprised. I know I did like the episodes from the Visions show, the first 2 that we got. I was a little, hesitant of what I will think about bringing this into a full-time show, but so far I think they did a good job. I mean, I was entertained. I enjoyed them. It definitely true to anime in many ways, but not overtly anime either, which is where I would want it to be. The story was pretty decent so far too. Wouldn't you think? Or I don't know.
Yeah, so
I
far
shouldn't say it that way. Did you think? How did you think the story was?
um through the first 2 episodes, I mean, I kind of like how, because beforehand I wanted to refresh myself, so I watched the 2 Vision
Yep.
episodes. And I felt like after watching episode 2 of Visions of this story arc, I was surprised how well it kind of just transitioned into now the first episode of this season. Kind of like a little backstory, but it kind of picked up where we kind of left
Yep.
off, or where the crew is kind of like on their mission to save her dad,
Yep.
the Sabersmith, and then it kind of goes on from there. But in the meantime, they're now kind of out there as Jedi's, and Jedi's right now are super wanted. It looks like,
Yep.
because in the beginning of the episode, they're being hunted down by bounty hunters, but they look like to be the same race or clan army. That's because I was kind of brought up throughout, and they're like, oh, they must be talking about Uncle blah blah blah
Yeah.
or something. And
Yep.
the other bounty's like, oh, I don't know anything about this. This is our bounty. Like you can tell but
Yeah. No.
and then yeah, that was the other thing that now, because I have it kind of on in the
Yeah.
background just to refresh myself. But the stupid trackers that kept getting thrown on their ship.
Yeah.
I was like, they gotta start coming up with something where like the ship just kind of like has an electrical outer shell to the ship, or like lands in and you just like a bug, just
Yep.
like they just kept getting stuck with trackers. And it was
It's
just
like
like
straight out of the Last Jedi with hyperspace jumping type of a thing.
yeah,
It's just like a
yeah.
or like a high speed chase in outer space, going jumping through hyperspace. And I guess that was Rise of Resistance or Rise of Skywalker, sorry, where they were like jumping, being chased, wasn't it? Where they were in
Oh
the
yeah,
Millennium
yeah.
Falcon, and but the first chase scene was in the Last Jedi. Again, that was a terrible chase scene, if you can call it a chase scene. It was like a slow chase scene. Um, but the thing I noticed about this show, at least through the first 2 episodes, is they're really like pulling a lot of story elements from like all 3 sequel trilogies. I feel like, um, because you have like the master, well, now master and apprentice, meaning the girl and the guy. I can't, the names I'm gonna struggle with here off the bat, because they're going after her father, which is very resemblant of like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. um and then
Yeah, I thought of that. Yeah.
and then you've got kind of the droid element from like the prequel trilogies, and you even had the Death Star element, and or even like Star Killer base with the magnitude of the weapon that's being used. So I just feel like there's a lot of elements that are like story elements that are drawing from previous Star Wars content, specifically the movies. Um, excuse me. But I'll go ahead and so jump in with the first one. So Episode 1, A New Threat. This episode picks up the story of La Cara following the events of the previous shorts, and it immediately sets the tone for a much larger conflict that will shape the rest of the series. We're in a distant future of Star Wars Galaxy. One of the things I was trying to understand is like where we are in terms of a time frame, because it's obviously in the future because the Jedi and Sith are no longer around, but like how far in the future are we talking about? And it's one where the Jedi and the Sith are no longer dominant forces. They even were talking about like, do they even exist anymore? They've, or as they put it, they like faded into legend, so they're not even really around, which is also kind of the case with when Luke Skywalker was around, because I know the events of the prequel trilogy weren't that far away in terms of years, but from like the standpoint of the people in the original trilogy, it made it seem like it was a long way, because like when they were on the Death Star in A New Hope, the Imperials were like, your ways of that ancient sorcery, Vader, like, you know, they're of the past. That makes it seem like it was a long time ago, even though it wasn't really. But this show seems to take on actual fully quite a distance away in the future. What remains is the galaxy's like unstable. It's fractured. People aren't sure what's going on. It's like lawless, it seems like, at least in the systems that were here. And into this kind of uncertainty, Kara, our main character, kind of starts her journey. She's training under a Jedi, Margrave Juro, I think his name is Juro. I think they keep referring to, yeah, Juro. And he's a figure attempting something almost impossible, which is trying to rebuild that Jedi Order from the ground up. But this isn't the like Jedi Order as we knew it. There's no temple, no council, very little surviving like knowledge of it. Everything has to be essentially rediscovered. They just know of the Force, they know of the Jedi, and they're trying to bring back the Jedi through their own like experience. Which is kind of fascinating, and you can kind of tell because they're kind of going rogue. Like he even hands like someone that's not even a Jedi a lightsaber and be like, this will be like your form of becoming a Jedi. You now have a lightsaber. Well, we all know if Jedi started at a very young age and were, you know, taught very strictly on what it is to become a Jedi. So then Kara's father, La Zima, he also plays a key role in this effort. He's one of the few remaining lightsaber smiths, as Bogey alluded to, in the galaxy, and we kind of see that in the first episode from season 1 of Visions, helping to restore one of the Jedi's most iconic tools. But as the episode hints early on, Zima may not be as simple of a figure as he appears. Like, he's like a Jedi, right? So there are kind of layers to his past, connections to the Jedi and the Force that have yet to be fully revealed. And not to jump too far ahead, is this guy a good guy or a bad guy?
Yeah, I'd say, are we jumping too far ahead quickly?
We might be, but were you starting to think that too by episode 2?
When we get to that, if we're talking about the scene, I literally was like, wait,
what's going on?
What is going on? What is going on? And then the stories we're going to talk about, that, you know, kind of history of some of these characters. Like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
And what? Okay, this is kind of a clusterfuck here. Who wants to be friends with who? Like,
yep, exactly. It's kind of a Game of Thrones-esque, right?
I was just gonna say something like that. It's like, wait a minute, so something doesn't add up here. Like,
right.
There's got to be a myth going out there or something that's just rumoring, or like, you know, a rumor going around. Everyone's talking about, oh, this is what happened, and this guy killed this guy. Well, no, that didn't happen. He's doing this. He's building lightsaber. He's building lightsaber. Why would he do that? Like, that was just...
Yep. So there's definitely intention to that mystery, and I think, and that mystery is going to matter in the long run. And because building the Jedi is not going to be easy either. So Going back to the galaxy is politically unstable, scattered, and filled with forces that have no interest in seeing the Jedi return or the Sith. The idea of restoring balance is no longer just a noble goal, it's also a dangerous one. Meanwhile, Kara herself is still learning what it means to be a Jedi. Again, definitely just on the fly through her own experience, through the teachings of her master and the other Jedi she encounters. And unlike the Jedi of the past, she doesn't have centuries of traditions to rely on. I mean, there's no clear path forward. She and the others are essentially just trying to discover what the Jedi were, and more importantly, what they should become in this kind of new phase or new era of the Jedi. And then kind of the threat emerges, and we're introduced to a mysterious Force user named Nawam. That's Nawam. Some of these names in this are a little challenging
And
to
how they say it, I
pronounce.
always thought it was for the longest time. I thought it was Nawan.
Yeah.
But when I look at the spelling, it's Nawam with an M, not an N. But they have, I don't know how they say it fast, and
Well, that was like Zima, because when I heard it, I thought, is that Jima? But then it's actually like Zima, like Zhima. So.
Oh, and with this, I guess I cheated because I was like, I didn't have that problem, but I also had subtitles.
Oh yeah, I had the subtitles
I,
on too.
I'm not the biggest fan of subtitles, but for me, I needed it because there was moments of they would talk really fast, and I'd be like, wait, it sounded like because all of a sudden they'd have like the animation would have like a facial expression. I'm like, wait, I don't get it. Rewind. That's why at the point I was like, after the third or fourth time I had to do that, I was like, subtitles, so that way I don't have to keep because I don't know. At least for me, my Disney app sometimes just gets when I try to rewind, it like lags and then it just jumps back like 5 minutes. I'm like, damn it! Like I didn't want to rewind that far.
Right.
10 seconds, not 5 minutes.
Well, and to compare it to Game of Thrones again, like to your point about subtitles, I try not to use it, but I have to use it for Game of Thrones because of all the different names and jumping back and forth. So
And there's like really
and I
intense
definitely used it for this show.
dialogue.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
when there's intense dialogue, you're like, oh shit, every word matters what they're saying. So
Yep,
when it's like that, then I'm like, all right, I got to cave in. I'll get subtitles that.
yep. So going back to Nawam, he's not like your typical Star Wars villain. He never presents himself as a Sith. And he doesn't rely on like the usual emotions like anger, hatred. Instead, he kind of embraces something more far unsettling, what he calls emptiness. So interesting concept there. So he seeks to detach himself from the emotion entirely, rejecting both the light and dark sides of the Force as traditionally understood. And that kind of makes him quite dangerous. And because he doesn't fight out of rage or revenge, he fights with calm, like precision. That's something that I really noticed about him. Like he really has a calm presence. It's kind of dark and villainous, but it's very calm, almost as if like violence is simply just another state of being. I say that, and then I'm going to compare him to someone that's more unhinged. He really does sound like Kylo Ren to me. Doesn't Do you get that like same sense?
Well, I guess maybe I'm just scarred from Kylo Ren's kind of final portrayal. He was pretty menacing though in Force Awakens.
Yeah, that is true.
If I just took the next two and didn't just blot that out, Kylo Ren was pretty interesting villain. So yeah, I could see, and he was very dark and just I don't know, like you said, precise. But at times, I mean, Kylo Ren had his moments of temper tantrums,
Yep.
bashing in computer consoles and whatnot. But I mean, this guy, he's just stoked and just I don't know, and just his voice, like again, sounds like Kylo Ren, but even I don't know, to me, seems even more menacing. And again, it probably helps now, ruins me because Kylo Ren when he takes his mask off. We don't know what this guy looks like under his mask, and will we ever?
Right.
That's what it's always the element. It's always in like these kind of like dark, even horror, like they wear a mask or something. It just kind of creeps you out.
Yep.
So kind of that dark feeling that or dark vibes that you're saying. Yeah, you totally get it with him.
Yep.
For sure. But again, is he good or is he bad?
TBD.
After that reveal, it's like, wait, what? Because who's that one young Jedi? Is it Ethan? I think it's Ethan.
The kid that's like separate from the group.
He was the one in the visions where like, oh,
Yeah.
you got the but when they all looked at him
Ethan
weird because
sounds right. Yeah.
when he grabbed the lightsaber, it turned blue,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone in the room just kind of like, I was like, why is everyone looking at each other weird? Because because everyone's circling around him. He goes like, what are you guys looking at? Like,
Have something on my face.
because I was gonna say that was the cool aspect from like just a really quick callback from the Vision episodes. Like this lightsaber smith made his sabers attuned to the
Yep.
Jedi, which I heard was, I thought when you find your own kyber crystal, after Jedi training, like the color kind of is supposed to call to you kind of like what your nature is, your connectivity with the Force, in a way.
Yep.
Okay, because did you know that, right?
Yep.
Or heard? Okay.
Yep.
So I liked how he made the lightsaber where it's just a random, clear crystal. But when he did I lose you for a second?
No, I got
Oh,
you.
okay, okay. I liked how when she pulled it, it was just like this, like, blue, like no color. But then when each person, like, it's supposed to find it, eventually for her it turns green, which that was kind of a cool kind of story of how she went down that path.
Yeah.
But then, like, yeah, like when all the other Jedi's all of a sudden light their lightsabers, they're all red. So it's like an easy way to know. But then going back to the main villain we're talking about now in the show, is it? It's not this. Is it the first episode or the second episode when he draws the lightsaber and it?
I think that's the second episode, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think so. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. I won't try to get too fast.
Oh no. Is it terrible? But when you were talking about when the lightsaber got ignited, when you're talking about like it draws from your like Force capability, and you were like, bleh, it reminded me of like Herbert the pervert from the Family Guy episodes when it's like Flobby, and then he sees Chris and it's. I'm sorry, when you were explaining that was where my head went from the Family Guy.
I can't remember. Did he say anything in that whistly voice?
In the episodes? Oh yeah.
No. I mean, in that scene, or was it just
No, he just because it was when Obi-Wan Kenobi and Vader meet in the Death Star, and they've like drawn their sabers.
Oh, that's right.
And like Obi-Wan's about to be defeated or whatnot, but then Luke comes running like, Ben, and it was Chris, and it was like, sorry,
that makes sense.
Couldn't help but think that.
Like Family Guy Chris would play Luke, and that would be Obi-Wan, just like in the being a creep pedophile.
What are you saying? Anyways, moving on.
Oh, Family Guy.
Oh, Family Guy. So
Red October standing by.
Red October. Big Red standing by. So as the episode progresses, it becomes clear that Nawam's goals go far beyond like opposing the Jedi. He represents a completely different philosophy of the Force, one that could fundamentally challenge everything that the Jedi are trying to rebuild. But at the same time, the episode continues to build out one of the most intriguing ideas, the meaning of the lightsaber colors. So kind of what Bogey was just talking about. In this version of the Star Wars universe, a lightsaber color isn't just aesthetic. It reflects the wielder's relationship with the Force. So it becomes a visual expression of identity, belief, and inner alignment, kind of your strength, all the above, which definitely adds a layer to the character's depth. By the end of the episode, they really set the stage pretty well. Kara stepping into a role that carries enormous responsibility, and Nawam has emerged as a serious and unpredictable threat, and the mystery surrounding Zima's past is beginning to take shape in the background. So that mystery we were speaking of, will we find out who this guy really is? So who is that other kind of Sith guy? Because he proclaims himself to be. Does he call himself a Sith? He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does.
Because he has a red lightsaber. Which, by the way, like when we have that initial chase, I thought it was so cool that what they did with the black hole. I was trying to think, like, of all Star Wars content, have we experienced like black holes? In the movie Solo, was that a black hole?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Uh, yeah, like I told you, I've seen that movie like 1.5 times, so I don't.
But
But
do
I
you know what
remember,
I'm referring to? Like,
yeah, that I'm trying to picture the scene. It might have been.
I think
I mean,
if it
I'll let you
wasn't, it
know.
was the closest thing to a black hole, but it
I put
didn't
that
look
on
like a
my.
black hole.
I'll let you know. I've definitely put that on my rewatch list. So
Okay.
just to
Um,
see if I've warmed up a little bit to it after some of our discussions. You're like, oh man, this part's pretty good. Like,
so yeah, in this episode, like it starts out where they're being chased by these bad guys, and they jump into hyperspace, get caught up to jump in hyperspace, get caught up from the trackers that Bogey was talking about. Um, and the way they get away is the droid comes up with this idea: we're going to hyperspace jump right next to a black hole because our mass is smaller than their mass. If we get to a certain position from the black hole, we can be easier for
slingshot out.
slingshot out,
Yeah.
easier for us to escape the gravity pull versus the size of their vehicle.
Yeah, because he
Brilliant.
said the droid because he's like, "Oh, great! Now you just flew us right next to a black hole."
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell, man?" And the droid being a smartass, he's like, "But we're agile enough to maneuver out of it,
Yeah.
unlike that hunk of junk." And he's pointing at like outside the window, like the big bounty hunter ship that's
Yeah.
blasting at them. Which then again, going back to this Jedi you're asking about, because he's on that ship, right? And they're getting sucked in the black hole. Like it's like, oh, they're screwed. The whole time they kind of were flashing back and forth how their car and their crew they get out of there. Well, then it goes back to he does this like force thing, and
Yep.
it like pulls them out of black. I was like, well, now how strong is
Something.
he?
Right. Right.
Like what? That's like Vader level stuff in the one game when he like brings down like one of the
The
Star
Star
Destroyers.
Destroyers.
Yeah, it's like okay, that's out of a black hole. Like
Yeah, that's reaching.
we, yeah, but that's why when you bring up like that's kind of cool though to say officially, yeah, there's a black hole scene finally in Star Wars content. It's interesting. Yeah, like you said, it is interesting for all the content we've gotten from a space kind of adventure.
Yeah.
Never come across a black hole or even a wormhole, right?
Right.
Nothing that you see all the other sci-fi,
Right.
content, out there talk about black holes, wormholes, travel faster than light type stuff. So
Yep. Um, which when you're talking about him doing that like force like push away from the black hole, it made me think of if he has that much power, why didn't he just like use the force to hold on to the other ship instead of like jumping?
right,
Like you can outpower a black hole's gravitational pull, but you can't just bring in the ship a little bit. It's anime, it's cartoon. Okay, there's some liberties we can take here.
So I mean, it kind of happened fast, and I figured it was like, well, because I was like, there's no way they're going out that quick. They're
Yeah,
gonna find a way out of this black hole. But I was like
right.
interested how. And it was him using the force, like,
Uh,
well, and all of a sudden it's cut to the next scene, and I kind of like moved on, and I was like, oh, whatever. It's an anime show, not,
right.
you know. But just
Uh,
the continuity, like I said, we were talking about, like, yeah, that kind of force power. Come on,
right, right. So the good guys, they kind of escape to this planet, this system where there's like an older Jedi. They knew he was a Jedi in the past, right? And
yeah, because I think the master knew him from. I think they're just going to all his old buddies because the
yeah,
next episode they
people you
go to
know,
that
the
is it like a mine?
dwarves
The
of
dwarfs.
Lord of the Rings. God, I felt like I was watching Lord of the Rings
No,
right
me
there.
too, me too. I was like, what are we?
Or the
What?
Hobbit, I should say, probably.
Yeah, because weren't all their weapons too like hammers and like
Yeah.
kind of like your ironsmith tools?
Yep.
Like,
Exactly. Um. So at this first Jedi, former Jedi, the guy, like I said, he's older now, and he's kind of like the head of this system, like president, king, governor, whatever you want to call it, whatever their hierarchy or political system is. And he says that he can't help them because his commitment is to the planet and the people. So, and they're kind of an independent system. They're free from whatever politics or intervention of what's going on.
That's what he said. Independent free city state.
Yeah,
Or
free city state.
planet, or something like that. And
Yep. So like
we have no quorum with anyone, but just leave us alone.
we're on no sides. We're not going to help either side or attack either side. No, and but Kara essentially bestows onto him that this is going to impact you if you don't help us in our mission. It's going to be bad for you in the long run. And not to jump too far ahead, but they do end up helping. Well, I guess because the bad guys, they jump out of hyperspace, and then they do like this, like they project like communication out to, was it multiple systems? Were they jumping from system to system, showing this message he was projecting? Because
No, that's a good question.
Because Ethan see it too, and he was somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think he was like projecting this message to multiple different systems, saying they're hunting down like these people or whatnot, and anyone that gets in the way will, there'll be issues. And this old Jedi, was it droids that he had? No, it was police officers, because the bad guys had the droids. So they were still able to track this group, even though they took the tracker off, didn't they? They said it in the episode, but I don't recall seeing when they took off the tracker. It was that like black thing that was dangling down.
Yeah, no, but they got, I don't know if they showed it, but they mentioned it. He's like
they disabled it or something.
Because it showed up.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, great, we forgot, or someone didn't take off the tracker. And the other guy, or I don't know if it was
the droid said that
the droid Gramps.
Yeah.
I like how they call him Gramps. he walks so damn slow. He's like a sloth.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it was him. And he's like, no, I made sure to remove it, and it had like the whole ship scanned, and it was clear of tracker. Right. So how, I don't know.
But either way, they ended up tracking him, and they find him at the system they're at. And kind of just skirmishing takes place between the droids and the troops there. And this is kind of one of the elements that remind me of the prequel trilogies, because they're like, if you take down the like central control system for the droids, you'll like knock them all out. So
the Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. I was like,
I was thinking the same thing, where it's like, oh, we're just gonna knock out their, and then become like,
they're all hokey.
They're all dummy droids now, or training droids, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And that's literally, the Jar Jar Binks. They go sleep or whatever.
Yeah, they go hokey.
They go hokey, and they just push them over.
Yep, exactly. So the crew decide that they're going to leave. So essentially, the old Jedi and their troops are kind of buying time for them to escape, but they have a plan set where they're going to like hyperspace jump out, but then they're hyperspace jump back in and end up like right next to the ship. So more great calculations by the droid, where it ends up right under it, so that they can infiltrate the bad guy's ship in order to shut down the, communications, whatever, that's going out to the droids. And this is where that Sith guy encounters Kara for the first time. And they just kind of exchanged some words. I'm trying to remember. They did fight. They had some saber fighting, but no one actually like defeated one another. The ship was they ended up destroying the communications, and the ship was crashing down. So then the bad guy kind of fled and got on his ship and got out. And that kind of wrapped up this episode, right? Am I remembering it correctly? Or what am I missing?
So when they're infiltrating the ship, Ethan, the Jedi, he went in with that little yellow droid.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then that's when I think his purpose was to, get the troops, everyone that are kind of like, they're just there voluntarily to work for this. What's the general? The guy we said that is, Kylo Ren.
Nawa or
Nawam.
Yeah, Nawam.
Mom. He's like, why are we here? Why can't we just do this on our own? He's like trying to provoke.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yep.
maybe this and that. And he's like, oh, but there's the rule. Like, you need to defeat him or whatever. And he jumps down. Like, you can hear him in the background in the shadows, and he comes jumping down or appears out of nowhere. He's like, that is true. You know, he's like, anyone can challenge me if they
Yep.
want to think they can take over the army. But he's like, but if there's no challengers, you listen to me.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, everyone just backs down or whatever. And then I forget who said what or some dialogue, and then he's like, "Oh, and I see we have a Jedi on our hands." And then
Ethan's
he
like,
points
oh
at,
shit.
yeah, Ethan's like, "Oh,
He's like, oh,
shit."
I've been spotted.
Yep. And it was just like a couple guys over. He had like this like spear, and then he like ratted him out, and because I don't know how to reveal because he didn't have a lightsaber, of course, because that's
Right.
scarcity right now
Right.
during this time. But yeah, that's when that guy then was going to fight because I think he took out a few of the other guys that was surrounding him with his like weird, like kind of neat looking
Spear.
spear or whatever,
Yep.
for an animation and everything.
Yep.
And you're like, yeah, right away I was like, oh, is it going to be Beskar? Because, but
Maybe
the other guy, we thought, the color of your lightsaber is supposed to project, and that's when Ethan like leans over and he's like, blue lightsaber, because he lights his lightsaber, and it's also blue.
Yep.
So it was like, oh shit. We thought this guy's a bad guy. But he's got a blue lightsaber. What's going on here? So, and then he fights that guy, but of course it was just like one swoop, and it like he had no chance with that.
Got him through the chest.
And it clearly was not Beskar spear
right.
or whatever. So yeah, so he got taken out, and that's kind of how
it ended.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking that was from episode 2, but I think you're right. That was how the first episode ended for sure. The guy whose hair covered his eyes and couldn't see.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, oh, how do you see, dude? You see through using the Force. But yeah, it's super fascinating that it's not a red lightsaber. Group that with the mystery of the father. Like, what's going on here? I mean, I know this is kind of like set far beyond, the times of the Sith and the Jedi. Things aren't really the same as they were in terms of Jedi and Sith, so maybe it's just the saber that he came across, so he's using it. He found it, so he's using it. But at the same time, like, the sabersmith is with him, so what's with that? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that I'm sure we'll get in the upcoming episodes. Which that leads to episode 2, which is called A Hidden Weapon. So this episode picks up the story as the conflict surrounding the emerging Jedi Order begins to escalate. Kara and the other Jedi are facing a growing threat while Margrave Juro continues working to unite the remaining Force-sensitive warriors and restore the Jedi tradition. But the galaxy is not simply waiting for the Jedi to return. Powerful enemies are already advancing to move against them. And at the center of the episode is the father-in-law, Zima, Kara's father. What initially appeared to be Zima's role as a lightsaber smith is becoming more important. His knowledge and abilities make him a key figure in the struggle between the emerging Jedi and those who want to destroy them. The episode also continues exploring the mysterious nature of lightsabers in this area. The weapons aren't simply tools of combat. They are closely connected to the Force, and the people who wield them, the colors and abilities, provide clues about the character and intentions of the owners. Again, we kind of mentioned that this like took on a Lord of the Rings feeling because it centers to the next, as Bogey mentioned, the next Jedi they're coming to get help from, which is an old friend of Juru. But they're all like dwarf looking people, and they've all got cloaks, like green cloaks, like from Lord of the Rings. And little hobbits.
Dwarves and hobbits.
Dwarves,
combined.
A little mix of the two. And when they first arrive, it seems like, oh, okay, this isn't the friendly, invitation or acceptance that we were thinking of, because the main dwarf guy pulls out a sword and he like chucks it at Juru, or at the group, and essentially tells him to fight him. And then Juru picks up the sword and the dwarf brings out another sword and they start fighting. But it was all for show. It was like a little dance almost that they were doing, because they were friends, and then they they embraced each other, and you've clearly gotten older and slowed quite a bit from the days in the past. And essentially, well, first he invites him in, and and they're having a discussion whether or not their group or should join them in their efforts. And I think the main dwarf guy, he's the only one that, I keep saying dwarf, I'm sorry, that's just all I can refer to them as right now. He's the only one that wants to join him, but everyone else says no, right?
Yeah, because the whole group was kind of what's it in for us,
Right.
Other than death. We're content doing what we're doing and mining this rock that they live in. So
yeah,
the people are, but his friend wants to help until he gets revealed who he's trying to help them save.
Which is
the Sabersmith.
Yeah, the Sabersmith.
Yeah, whatever. What's his name again? No, we're gonna struggle with these names at first. Sorry, people.
Yeah, Zima. I keep wanting to say Jima because that's what I originally thought. La Zima.
Okay, so who apparently killed? That's the theory, right? Why everyone hates him? It's because he killed the Grand Jedi Master.
Yeah, or so they say, right?
Or they say. So everyone's like, why do we support this guy? Because we technically hate him. So why would we help save him?
Right. And there's a key moment in here, because the bad guys have this Death Star weapon again, and we see that they're mining kyber crystals. They're gathering all these bunches of small kyber crystals. My understanding is that they're combining them into one big one. Are they forging it into a big single kyber crystal? Am I understanding that right?
That's what it seems like. They're forcing it, because then when later on in the episode, the Sith saber, or Sabersmith, gets at the one guy asked him, the general asked him for his help. And it was funny because he goes up there and he's like, kyber crystals, and he puts his hand to it, and he could feel it's almost like they're just forcing this in, where he's using the force to kind of let it connect naturally or something.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? I don't does it look like that's what he's trying to do, or I don't know, because he did it a couple times where he cut in with him feeling the rock, and it zooms in deep, and all of a sudden it's little cracks kind of correct themselves, and all of a sudden they're
it's confusing, because it's is he trying to connect with it? Is he trying to heal it? Because, well, it makes me think of, when you're a Sith, in order to turn it red, you bleed it or whatever. You bring destruction and, violence to it. So is he healing it? Is it, I don't know. I think there's much we have yet to find out.
But we know it's a weapon.
We know it's a weapon, and they fire the weapon, which again, they use a wormhole, right? To shoot the laser to a far off distance to destroy systems. But remind me, did it not shoot until he put his hand on it?
I think you're right.
It's he needed his involvement. He was involved in the shooting it.
They were doing something before where they I don't know, to jump start it or something. You remember that? And they had a bunch of guys working on the rail, right? And they all got blown up and everything. And that's when the Sabersmith was standing next to the general, and he just oh, what? And then he just kind of yeah, that wasn't going to work. And that's why he's looking, because then that was the other reveal, kept calling the Sabersmith guy his master.
Yep.
And he goes, "You don't call me that anymore."
Yep.
He's like, "Okay, whatever you say, my master." He
Yeah.
kept saying it.
Which, now that I'm thinking of it, what he's probably doing is stabilizing the kyber crystal, the large kyber crystal. So when they're trying to use it as a weapon, it's probably like becoming unstable, and that's why it and like causes havoc and
No, that's probably that's a
kills the
good.
people. So then the Jedi guy, the Smith or Sabersmith comes in, and he has to stabilize the crystal before they can actually fire it. So, like, what's the deal with this guy? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he both?
Wait,
Is he a
yeah, what's
twin?
his
Maybe he's
prerogative?
a twin and he's not the dad. If they
But no,
want to
that's
steal
like that.
more other elements of Star Wars, it's actually a twin. I don't know. I don't think it's a twin because they keep referring to him as or Kara's father, or La Zima, or whatever. And so when they were shooting at the system, because wasn't the target one of the targets the system the good guys were on with the door or people, but it like missed? Is that what happened? Or was it actually aiming at that big planet?
I think it was aiming at that big planet. I think because I think it zoomed by their like the Dwarf's Rock
Yeah.
station or home or whatever. I think it zoomed past them, but it didn't hit. It didn't hit
Did
them.
it hit the green
Unless
planet behind them? Because there was like
that's
that
what I.
big red one, but it like shot through it because it's probably like a gas planet. But then the green planet, I feel like it missed it if I'm recalling it. And that's right. They were on like this rock asteroid slash base slash ship thing,
Yeah,
whatever that was, which, fits right in with dwarves like mining. You know, this had like I
like
said,
I
Lord of
mean,
the Rings written all over it.
Lord of the Rings got a little like kind of Thor mythology when flattered of the Mimir or whatever they call it, where the dying star. It's
Yeah.
like those dwarves are just on like I think orbiting like their base is just like this rock. I
Yep.
don't know, manufacturing plant on a rock that's just orbiting around this
Yep.
dying star. Yeah.
Pretty much. And so I'm trying to recall, was it this? I only watched this once,
Oh
and
no. Okay, so uh, it zoomed past the laser zoomed past a lot of those planets and everything you said.
yeah.
The planet it hit was the planet they were on last episode.
Oh, so it was that planet. Okay. Shit.
I forgot how grasp it because you see all of a sudden it looks like because it's like you can see that okay we've seen that planet and it's like oh
Yeah,
it's his the
because there
guy
was
that
the green one behind the red planet, right? And is that the one
yeah
that? Okay,
and that was the planet that
they
they
were
were
on
on
the
last
episode
episode
before.
where
Shit.
that guy was like kind of became a Jedi
Yep.
the governor or president whatever we were gonna say that he was it was like him and his support his like people under him they were all just looking up and then all of a sudden you see this beam and it blows up
That's
the
right.
planet.
That's right.
That was like, oh, that's deep because that's because I think he sends out a message. I think it's like anyone who assists Jedi, and they knew
Yep.
there was already an incident on that planet that assisted Jedi.
Because the guy with the red
Uh,
saber who already fled knew that that
that
system was
was
helping
aiding.
them. Yep.
Yeah. So that's how. Yeah, and that was actually kind of towards the end of the episode.
Shit, man. So that's like our complete investment. Well, not complete, but a good investment of the first episode is just gone because they just destroyed the planet. I'm assuming that Jedi guy did not get off system. Maybe he did. I don't know. Probably not.
It,
What?
it was just plot armor. Maybe not strong enough for this one.
I will applaud them if they actually had him die, because I mean, again, just the investment you put into him, and then be like, you're gone, no plot armor for you. But
But I
that
just like thinking about like other shows. Like I just finished watching season 2 of X-Men 97,
okay,
the new version, I guess, of X-Men, but it's a continuation of like the animation still like the old school 90s.
yeah,
So anyways, it's like just got done with like multiple deaths in season 1. Spoiler alert. Season 2, they one by one start slowly somehow coming back to life. It's like
No!
no one really dies. Like,
Oh, they're going the Star Wars route.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Everyone comes back to life. But so was this event? Is that what turned the minor people like to help them? And then that's because or
No,
the guy,
it
the
was some
friend guy was like, I can't join. I'm not a Jedi. That's not my dream anymore. Um, and then that's when Juru gives him like the saber, and he's like, I can't wield this. I'm sorry. I'm not a Jedi. And he's like, essentially saying like, you don't have to be a Jedi to have this. This will help like bring you upon the path of becoming a Jedi. This is like your next step forward. Um, and then he essentially like joins in, right? And that's where the episode ends.
he does. But he wanted nothing to do because he's like, because when he got the people to turn to support, um, he was like, but I'm not. It's just like, that's kind of funny. You just convinced everyone, but you secretly on the side like, I'm not helping you because he doesn't want to help aid the
Right.
guy that saved the Grand Master or whatever. That
Right.
because I think he was the kind of like he would have been like the Luke Skywalker to this like new Jedi council academy or whatever. I think they were saying
Yeah.
like he would be the Yoda, I guess, to this future that they were trying to have. And he said the saber smith has killed him behind his back somehow, and like that's how the Jedi all disbanded and have now been lost.
Yeah.
Is the rumor. So,
and it was, didn't Kara like speak up to them again, kind of similar to how she spoke up to?
So to convince the people.
Yep.
Before that, he jumped on the ledge, like saying, "We need to help these people. They have a cause." He's like, "What if they don't succeed? And what if the next person doesn't succeed? At one point, they're going to come for us.
Yep.
So why not do it now and save how many countless lives down the road if they eventually have to go through us?" So then the whole like bar pub whatever starts going nuts. Like, yeah, we're all in support. That's when when he was gonna do it, I think some of the miners were like, oh, whatever, you're just jump. That's when because it was like Kara and I think Ethan like holding him back from
Yep.
like jumping off the ledge.
Yeah.
But then like Kara let go and then like Ethan's like, what the heck? But then she jumped on the ledge and threatened to jump, and she gave her speech as to why they should back them up. So that's when they and then they pulled him back off the ledge. And that's when I said like the friend guy leader is kind of like, I'm not helping you though.
Right.
But then that's he gives him a lightsaber, kind of changed his mind. I guess is he wants to help out his friend because they've known each other. I think they said since they were little lads.
Right. Yep. Was it the first episode where Kara kind of apologized for she thought she overstepped her boundary?
To that president leader guy.
Yeah. And Juro was like, no, this is exactly what I want out of you. So I think like she recognized that in this next situation and kind of did the same thing. It worked in the first one, so it kind of worked here as well. And is that where the episode kind of leaves off?
Well, I mean, that's probably like the middle, I would say, of the episode, and then we kind of talked about that later,
right?
Like the ending kind of third half is pretty much seeing them work together. I mean, there was even a moment too. Did he I forget who. Oh, the droid. When the General Mumuff or whatever is, I forgot his name.
Mawa or
Nawam.
Nawam
Goes to get the sabersmith guy. He's in his like cell, opens it up, and he sees he's in handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Why are you?" He just kind of gives it a like you could tell underneath his helmet, he was just like, "Who the fuck put handcuffs on this guy?" And then he turns around and it's like that droid. He's like, "Oh, per protocol, blah 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 blah," and he just like pushes him like out of the cell. Like, yeah, you're a piece of crap.
You're done.
Like that. Yeah. And then I don't know if he uses the force or whatever to like unlock he's like, "Sorry about that," and he's like, "Yeah, well, if I needed him off, I would have taken him off when I need to." Like,
right.
He was just he was just cooperating the whole time. So
right.
Which like kind of just again circles back. It's like, God, what is his story? He's the sabersmith. Looks like he's a good guy from the show or the Vision episodes. Here now it's like he's helping them work out this kyber weapon. Like what? And we don't know the other guy because he makes the lightsaber blue.
Well,
like you were saying earlier in our recording that are they actually doing it? They have this dark presence and look, but maybe are they doing something good?
Well, and it makes me now think back to the first episode of the Ninth Jedi on Visions. Like, the lightsabers that he sent his daughter to take to the ship were ended up being for Sith. Now, we're led to believe these, like, Sith figures kind of infiltrated this meeting to take over. Like, so the people that she handed the sabers to weren't initially who they thought they were, because they were supposed to be Jedi. But maybe the sabersmith knew all along. So was he in on that? I don't know, because the whole understanding of this character is kind of up in the air right now. But then it would also follow, like, Star Wars to have, like, so the daughter, let's say Kara, is kind of like the Luke Skywalker figure. Her father maybe is a bad guy, you know, and then she ends up finding him and, like, setting the path straight again. Oh, who knows? We'll see where this goes, but I'm intrigued. I'm entertained so far. I'm kind of want to watch all 8 now, but I'll go 2 at a time as we go week by week.
I was saying, if you're gonna keep to it, I'll keep to it as best I can. No, I will. But as soon as you don't, you let me know. So I thought I'm like, oh, screw this. I'm gonna binge watch the rest of the season because they are pretty fast watch. They're only like
30 minutes, but like, yeah, it's like
minutes.
25 minutes of content because the episode's 30 minutes, but then you've got like credits, pre-show and post-show credits and intros and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not the best Star Wars content out there, but it's not bad. It's interesting. It's intriguing.
And just to have some Star Wars content right now is kind of nice and new and refreshing. We've liked the Visions, especially all the different, going back. I was like looking through, like when I was looking for the Ninth Jedi episodes, I was like, oh, I remember that one. I remember that one, like the artwork or the cinematography of the artwork or the score, the soundtrack to those episodes.
Yep.
For an anime and be Star Wars, nice little different taste. Too.
Yeah. Now there are some not as good Visions episodes, but we really did like the Ninth Jedi ones when they were released. So that, especially the first one, that first one was really good. The second one was kind of like, it was okay. But yeah, I'm glad they chose this one. I still would have rather seen the duel. I want to see more from that show, or the Elder. The Elder one was really good. Do you remember that one with the old guy? That was really good.
I think those are probably some of my favorites for sure.
Yep.
Top five for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
The duel was awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, they made a book, The Ronin. I still haven't read it, but I want to. Because that character is just fascinating because he was a Sith, but now he's going back and he's like killing all the Sith with his red lightsaber. So, I mean, he's a Ronin. The meaning behind that. So that's pretty cool. Anything else you want to speak to as it pertains to the first 2 episodes of Vision, or of not Vision, the Ninth Jedi?
I would just say it's, like you said, I think it's a great start to a season. It's compelling enough to kind of like your curiosity, I guess, is really peaked a lot in these 2 episodes. Like you thought one was like, interesting. Well, I wonder how that plays out. Well, then episode 2 just doubles up on that with like more speculations that your mind's like, oh, now I want to watch the next episode. What happened? So, so that's why I'm going back. It's like, if you keep the 2, I'll keep the 2 because it's hard not to. When we're in the end, you're like, it's one more episode. Let's go to the next one, and then the next one.
Yep. Well, and it's, for me, it's all centered around the Zima guy, so the father, and the name that we always have a hard time, Nawam. Like
Nawam.
Those 2 characters are fascinating. Like, who are they, and like, what is their true intention? That's what I want to know. That's what's going to keep me going through all these episodes. So,
and then we got the other guy, the other kind of Sith guy. What's his role? What's his prerogative? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It seems like he's got something kind of like he's getting a lot of screen time at
yeah.
times. So it's kind of like, so
He's
what's
just
in
the
it for
errand
him? And
boy. He's the errand boy, in my opinion.
he's the downgrade for Vader. Like,
Yeah,
Palpatine couldn't afford another Vader. He got him instead.
he's like the Maul and Phantom Menace. Like he's gonna get knocked out at some point, and he's expendable. Now, hindsight, Maul is a lot. His character, there's a lot more depth to it than what we saw in Phantom Menace. But when you're just looking at Phantom Menace alone, I feel like this guy is similar to like the Maul character. He's kind of a means to an end. He's kind of like the bad guy, the clear-cut bad guy character at this point, as we kind of figure out who these other people are. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
That's my take on him so far. Maybe it'll be more. Maybe he'll evolve into a bigger role than that, but that's just my sense at the moment. Cool. Well, we'll have that wrap up our Visions talk. So we will watch episodes 3 and 4 this week, and we'll bring that content to you when we record next Wednesday, probably Wednesday. So, what do we want to dive into next? Do we want to wrap it up? Or we got time, or it's 11:55?
Your call. How you feeling? Are you tired?
I'm tired. I am tired, and I got to take the kids in the morning. But I know we did the bracket, and I know it totally effed up last time. Do we want to wait on that?
Oh, sorry, you broke up. I didn't hear you.
No,
for a
I was
second
just
there.
saying that I know we attempted the bracket last week, but that all got effed up. I don't know if we want to try it again really quick, or what are
I
your
mean,
thoughts?
we could go like the results, I guess, and briefly, or I don't know. How do you want to go about it?
Sure, let's.
Or should I just break it down like I'm in Sports Center commentary? You know, this is ESPN breaking
Recap.
news. First round
Scott
of the
Van Pelt, tell me what
NCAA.
you're gonna. Well, he's not ESPN anymore. I shouldn't say that. Is he Fox Sports? Scott Van Pelt.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, he's got his own show now, or I forget.
Well, he does. Yeah, have his own like.
I like Scott
podcast.
Van Pelt. I think he's great. And if you ever watch the what do they call it? It centers around like sports betting, and where like you lose your bet in the last second. Bad Beats. If you look up Bad Beats, if you want some entertaining sports betting backfires or devastating losses. Anyways, moving away from sport. Let's go through your bracket. Let's go through each matchup from the start to the end. I will voice my opinions, but we'll try to push through it. How about that?
Yeah, and you can maybe bring up. I'll say what you originally said, the winner, and you might be like, "Yeah, I changed my mind. Maybe I like that one more."
No,
No, yeah, that's too much work.
no, not as too much work. No, as in like it's not changing.
So in this bracket, the theme is like taking like a moment in the cinema, like a scene or a sequence, and it's from the first 3 trilogies. So Phantom Menace all the way to I'm blanking.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. So those 9 movies, just those 9, when they call them the Skywalker saga, I guess.
Yep.
So number 1 seed, we got the scene with Obi-Wan versus Anakin
From
against 16th, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yep. So it's the whole battle sequence. Don't include Yoda and Palpatine. That does not count. That's just, edit that out. It's
Sure.
just a complete. And you got to think about what that we really dove in. Just got to think about the emotions, the cinematography, and kind of like the score, the music in the background can really hit home on a certain scene, a sequence. And
yep.
So that was the number 1 seed going against the 16th seed, which is the beginning of Rise of
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge. I would say Rise.
The
Revenge of the
space
Sith.
battle.
Space battle of Coruscant, right at the very beginning, where you have that kind of like calm, peaceful of the Obi-Wan and Anakin on their Jedi starfighters. All of a sudden, do like the flip over on the battleship, and it's just a war zone. You look down, you're like, "Whoa, that's awesome!" So it's that scene leading up all the way to fighting the buzz bot droids that land on their ships to getting into that hangar bay.
Yeah, this was. I mean, that was a tough 116 matchup. It was gritty. It was close at half, and then it pulls away.
Okay.
Bring into the sports analogies. No, like, I mean, the scores are great. The visuals on both are freaking excellent. For me, it was the dialogue that was a big drawback for the opening scene for Revenge of the Sith. And I mean, it's also Anakin versus Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber dueling. That's really tough to beat. That was the pinnacle of what the prequel trilogy was created for. I mean, we knew what was going to happen. We already knew the results, and to be as captivated as we were in that scene, even though we knew what was coming, I mean, I have to give the nod to Anakin dueling his master Obi-Wan Kenobi. But the dialogue in that space. I mean, those, we talk about like Star Wars. Star Wars is like space battles. That's what we want to see more of. And like that was a great scene. Like seeing the stuff in the background was one of the most fun parts of that scene. But it was just like the cheeky humor too that was in that scene a little bit was, oh, the blast shields aren't, or the whatever aren't down. Oh,
don't you realize the shields are still up?
Yeah, let me just flip my ship and take it down. So yeah, I'll go with Anakin and Obi-Wan lightsaber duel.
Which Ned, do we remember what the score?
The Battle of Heroes. Great score. Freaking awesome score. The intro score to that movie too was really good. I can't remember what it was, but it was kind of like a mix of like Imperial March in there, I want to say. But
I know. So move on to the next matchup. We got the 8th seed pod racing, the whole sequence of the pod race in Phantom Menace versus the scene in what's the first one with
Force
the new
Awakens?
trilogy? Force Awakens. The scene when Rey is fighting Kylo Ren, the scene where you slowly see the lightsaber raised, and you're like, oh, where's that going? And it flies past like Finn, who's knocked out, and it lands in Rey's hand. And it confirms she is Force sensitive. The question was at the time is like, what's her lineage? Who's she related to?
Yep.
You know, that was. I remember after that movie, everyone's speculating that,
Rey Skywalker.
Is she truly a Skywalker? You don't know. So, and then we got the shit that we got. Anyways, that's the match.
She is a Skywalker, according to her. We can be what we want. We can be what we want these days. We can be whatever we want these days. Just just announce it. Anyways, this. See, pod racing, that was like one of the best things about episode 1. It was intense. It was great. It was cool seeing like a sporting event or racing event out of a Star Wars movie. I mean, again, we knew what was going to happen. So, I mean, it kind of took away from it a little bit, but still, it was an action-packed scene. Seeing, the pod racers getting taken out, Sebulba being mischievous and, playing dirty. But for me, that scene when Rey force pulled the lightsaber. I will always remember being in the theater and watching that for the first time, and the goosebumps I got just hearing that soundtrack hit. Like they timed that perfect. They really did well by using that track at that moment because it really hit me. And I hate letting the sequel trilogy win over something from the prequel trilogy. But like I have to give it to that because I mean The Force Awakens was a good movie, and there was a lot of hope for the franchise for that trilogy coming out of that movie. So up until that point, like I was like, this could be better than the prequel trilogy. But yeah, it was just how I felt, how that moment struck. And I mean the ambient lighting with like, I mean it was dark, snow scene with a
Yeah.
lightsaber, like brilliant. What a way to reflect like a lightsaber light having a dark snow scene with it. It was just done very well. So I have to give it to that.
Yeah. So yeah, 9 seed takes the 8 seed, moves on to the next round.
Upset.
Next matchup, number 5, the sequence of Order 66. So it's pretty much immediately when Commander Cody gets the signal,
Yeah.
and you see Palpatine relaying it's the whole sequence of. Then
Yep.
he goes, Commander Cody. He's like fire, and he shoots at Obi-Wan,
Yep.
and then you hear that his animal he was on like screams. Yeah, as they like, and it like echoes as they're falling, and then like that, and then that. I'm talking about that. Like to me, this is one of my gives me goosebumps at times. Just like then that like score soundtrack kicks in, and you
Mhm.
see different Jedi's left and right that you recognize throughout the episodes, and then some of us diehard Star Wars nerds have gotten to know and through different content, whether
Yeah.
it's gaming shows, whatnot. We're like, oh no, not that character, not that character, and they just get taken down, and all of a sudden it goes like Yoda, and he drops his cane, and you see him grab his heart, like he could feel
He's
out
hurt,
there.
man. He knows what's going on.
Yeah. So like that whole sequence, that's the number 5 seed. Number 12 seed is Han Solo getting lowered down to get frozen. He says, "I love you," and go. Or no,
I know.
Leia says, "I love you," and go. Han goes, "I know." As he's getting lowered down. I can't remember. Did they make something funny like that in Family Guy? I know
Yeah.
when I know when he comes up, it's him just mooning
With
them.
his mooning him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there is something they do, but I can't remember it in
No,
terms of
actually,
what he
I
said.
think about it. Just he said like as he's getting lowered down, he's like, "I love you." He's like, "Fuck off."
Or something like that. Shut up,
It's like
bitch. Or something. I don't know.
something really quick before he goes all the way down.
Yeah.
Anyways, that scene of real like back to reality here. The scene where I love you, I know
Yeah.
the kind of the emotions because at that scene you're like we don't know what's going to happen next and Boba Fett's going to take him. Like where's this leading?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I think that scene, the carbonation chamber or whatever, I think that is really a nod to like Harrison Ford's improv ability because that was not part of the script for him to say that. To say I know in response to Leia, he was supposed to say like I love you too or something like that. But like he knew his character so well that he's like, no, this is what Han Solo would say, and like it was perfect. I mean, it's iconic. People remember that. Um, People even say it like if their significant other says "I love you" as a joke to like Star Wars, they'll say "I know" or something like that. So it resonates. Um, but it's going up against Order 66, one of the most pivotal, if not the most pivotal scene in the Skywalker saga. I mean, that's what sets everything, in pace. That's or what
sets it
initiates
in
every.
motion. Sets
Yeah,
it
it
in
sets an
motion.
emotion. That's everything happens in like the OT and the sequel trilogy because of Order 66 and what happened. That was the fall of Darth Vader or the fall of Anakin Skywalker and the fall of the Jedi and everything. So, I mean, you can't beat and the soundtrack there hits the heart, You start feeling sad inside and it's a hard time watching. And like think of all the content we've received since the prequels and how much they go back to that and include other Jedi and where they were at the point of Order 66. So they keep building onto that moment through other content, and even in like flashbacks. I mean, that's how we got, in the Mandalorian stuff with Grogu, we had flashbacks of when he was, or where he was during Order 66. So yeah, Order 66 by a landslide.
All right. I think a lot of people, including myself, agree.
All right.
I know
Yeah.
that, like I said, seeing
Smart.
that in theaters,
Smart.
it chills, goosebumps, emotions of like, oh shit, like,
Well,
it's like, oh, it poked my heart.
yeah. Well, and it's not, Revenge of the Sith isn't my favorite Star Wars movie, but it's probably the movie I've seen the most. Because the Star Wars movie I've seen the most, just because of like that event. It again, it's just what sets everything in motion. So
Mm-hmm. Moving along, we got the 4 seed against the 13 seed. 4 seed is the Duel of Fates, the whole sequence from get go when Qui-Gon Jinn goes, "We'll handle this."
yeah,
And they drop their cloaks and they go at it. Go cut everything else still during that whole battle, just
just
the
the saber
lightsaber
duel.
fight, all the way to Qui-Gon getting struck down and Obi-Wan releasing his rage, and then kind of almost lost it. That's kind of funny when you look, ironic that kind of looked like he was teeter-totting with the dark side,
Yeah,
with his anger, but then it kind of backfired on him, and he got kind of lucky, I guess. Just do a backflip like he did.
Better be lucky than good sometimes.
Right. So that is the 4 seed against the 13 seed, which is the very first time we get to see when the Millennium Falcon escapes after old Ben dies and they get in the ship and fly off. Then they get attacked and hunted down by TIE fighters. Well, right away, Han's like, "Here, come with me, kid." And they jump in those cockpit turret things and they're maneuvering around as they're trying to shoot. And what is it? I got one.
Family Guy.
Yeah.
Great shot, kid. Don't get penisy.
Don't get PDC.
I mean, he says don't get cocky, and
don't get cocky.
Peter Griffin finds that opening to be don't get penisy. I love that scene in Family Guy.
But no, just kind of like you think about kind of like they jump in and you hear like the
yeah.
All of a sudden like they're all locked in.
Great soundtrack too. Another very memorable soundtrack.
So that versus Duel Fates, I don't kind of.
I mean, as good as that scene is, I mean, we get to see some TIE fighters getting destroyed. We get to see a little glimpse of a space battle type of thing, but it's the Duel of Fates, man. Like
the score,
the most iconic, probably the most iconic score in all of Star Wars for all fans. Duel of Fates. They use that shit in trailers just to grab you. Like Duel of Fates, man. Again, another landslide.
Figured as much. All right, move on to the next matchup. Number 6 seed versus 11. 6 seed is the first time you see Darth Vader right when Padme dies. It cuts to Vader where the mask closes, and it's that moment where it's like just silence, absolute silence. Not even a score going. There's nothing. All you hear is the breathe in, and then. And you can see the steam. Like the steam smoke that was already kind of looked like he was in a hot room, probably with all the machinery going on. And all of a sudden, it was like when he breathed out, and all of a sudden you can see the air move, kind of in a weird kind of.
Yeah.
And that's when it then kind of leads into the sequence where then he rises, and then he uses the Force when he can tell that Padme's passed. He's like, no, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I could feel her, but like you said, everything in the room just
crushed.
It's the initial grasp of seeing how strong. Now, you didn't see that through Anakin at any point of that kind of power just being unleashed in anger. But that's kind of like your introduction to Vader.
And you see Palpatine smiling like his plan is going according to how he foresaw it. It's going right for him. So
that versus Yoda versus Dooku for the first time in Attack of the Clones, because I would say it was an iconic, especially when I was going to school. Everyone was talking about it. It's like, oh my god, Yoda, the guy in this cane. Like people that hadn't seen it, like, thanks asshole for spoiling it.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh yeah, there's a big old lightsaber and Yoda's in it. Like, oh really, dude? Shut the. Let me go
Yeah.
see it first. But it was I remember seeing it in theaters though, and I wasn't spoiled yet, so it was a shock to me when he's just walking, all of a sudden he drops his cane and he whips out his lightsaber. But I know you said you didn't care for so much the whole lightning. I'll grab your lightning, throw it back. Lightning, I'll throw it back. And also,
Well,
what was this quote that you said was cringe? Like,
well, it was more like I hate when movies narrate what they're doing. Like you don't need to tell me, I can see it. I mean, that scene I think at a minimum was nominated for an award. It might have won it for like special effects, like fighting or something like that. Um a great scene, don't get me wrong, but the dialogue kind of took it away from me in this matchup because I mean, Dooku's like, it's obvious that our strength in the Force like won't resolve this, but through like our abilities through a lightsaber. It's like, don't just do it. Just fight.
we get
don't
it.
tell me. That is not what would really happen in like a person to person combat. Someone wouldn't say that. They would just pull it out and be like, all right, let's go. Like, don't narrate it for me. Just do it. So that's why I felt that I mean, I do think the whole "no" is a little bit cringe, but I think just the magnitude of his power and finally seeing that through his like hate and anger, and you know, Palpatine seeing his plan unfold the way he intended it, just with that little grin. And again, we knew this was going to happen. We knew Anakin was going to turn to Vader, but it still held up to the magnitude of it. I I I would choose that scene.
Okay. All right. Next matchup 3 versus 14. The 3 seed. Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader Part 2. And so it'd be their second fight in Return of the Jedi. And I'm talking about like the beginning scene where Palpatine convinces Luke to try to strike him down, but then Vader defends him.
Yep.
That part all the way to the end of the fight where like Luke kind of goes hiding and Vader's kind of like searching around the dark room looking for him and then starts feeling his senses and feelings. And that's when he goes, "Oh, you have a twin sister. Well, if you can't turn, maybe she will."
Yeah.
And Luke comes out of the shadows just out of rage and anger. And it was kind of the first time, like, it was kind of a simple lightsaber, but they kind of did at least an underswoop block.
Yeah.
But a little different than the crisscross, like
there's a little more intention to the combat there. Yeah.
Yeah, the choreography of the fight and everything
Mm-hmm.
to lead then to Vader down and bashing his hand off. And then he, I think that's like a wake up call was, you know, I think he was kind of turning to the dark side in a way until he saw his father's hand, hand. And then he looked down at his own mechanical hand and he goes, "I'm becoming my father."
Yep.
And that's when he kind of like his inner goodness kind of like woke him up again and kind of like,
Yep.
it's like, I won't. And then that's when he threw his lightsaber. He's like, "I won't join you." So
Precisely.
which I think kind of started waking up Vader.
Yep.
To become back to Anakin. It was just like a whole.
This was the turning point where Palpatine's plan wasn't going according to his plan.
So yeah, just not including the electrocution started to get a little off, and the throwing Palpatine down the vent. It's like not that part, just the Vader, the lightsaber fight
duel. Okay.
Duel. That's the 3 seed versus 14 seed in Force Awakens when they're flying the Millennium Falcon and they realize this giant freighter ship with a bunch of random cargo is about to abduct them. And then they get abducted. It's the scene where all of a sudden you don't know who this is. And they're like, they go hiding underneath the flooring or whatever. And all of a sudden, like the doors open to inside the Millennium Falcon. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's Chewie and Han. They pop out of the corner. And then you see Han has got his blaster too. And then he like looks around. He's like, "Oh, it looks like no one's home." He's like, and he goes, "Chewie, we're home." Just that look on their face, and then she just says, "Chewie, we're home."
Yep.
Like he finally got his baby back.
Yep. Baby back ribs. I want my baby.
Yeah.
So
that's the 14 seed versus the 3 seed Luke versus Vader.
Yeah, this one was a little easier for me. I mean, I'm gonna go with Luke versus Vader. It doesn't help that we saw that scene with Han Solo and Chewbacca in one of the trailers. So
Right. Yeah.
granted, we didn't know the context necessarily of that scene, but we had seen it. Um, so I mean, it was awesome seeing for the first time characters from the original trilogy in The Force Awakens in Star Wars. It's like, okay, this reminds me of, how I felt watching Star Wars back in the day. But
Nostalgia.
the
Nostalgia porn.
nostalgia porn for sure. But again, we saw it in the trailer, which kind of pulled from it. If they would have not shown that in trailer,
That would have been kind of cool.
it
First
would have
time
been
seeing
cool.
it.
First time seeing it, you'd be like, oh, dang. Yeah, this is how we see him. Cool. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Luke Vader duel number 2.
Okay. Next matchup, 7 versus 10. 7th seed is um, the Death Star run in New Hope, and
Okay.
where Luke or Obi-Wan through the Force tells him, "Use the Force,
Yep.
Luke. Use the Force." So that whole bombing run sequence against the best thing ever to happen in Star Wars.
My best thing that ever happened in
No,
Star Wars.
yeah. Sorry. Something I found out did not, or kind of a little more got to know more.
Didn't
about
realize at the time.
Yeah, didn't realize it. So the 10 seed is the binary star scene. Luke coming out of the home hut, and you see him. He like lays his hand on his shoulder or on his arm on his knee as he like leans over this cliff as he looks under the horizon of the stars going down, and you have that really ominous score soundtrack, and it's like, and you can see it, and Mark Hamill killed this kind of the scenery as he looks off. The wind's kind of blowing, and he just like looks off in the distance of like, what's out there. And when you look at back in hindsight, like, you have no idea, dude.
Yeah.
Was it Lars and what was his aunt's name?
Yeah. Aunt Beru, Uncle Owen, and
Brew.
Aunt Beru, Lars.
Oh, yeah. They really were sheltered parents from what it looks like. Didn't let them go outside much.
A little bit. I mean, yeah, I wish our episode last week would have captured all of it, but I mean, this scene is like the culminating scene of what like I think of Star Wars, and to the point where it's like it's part of our introduction to our podcast. With the edited versions, the original title scene, it's you see the sun, and it's the same soundtrack that is from that scene as well. But like because of copyright, I couldn't use the actual song. So what I did is for my wedding, for my entrance song, we had a violinist. We had her play that song as I walked down the aisle with like the groomsmen and everything. So that was like our introductory song. Because it's like to me, it's my favorite score of all of Star Wars. It's soothing, it's subtle, but it's mysterious, it's deep, and it just resonates. It like hits you really hard. And I think for me, like the first time I saw that scene when I was like 9 or 10 years old in a hotel room, it just like fit for like where I was at that time in my life. Like I'm a younger kid trying to discover who I am. Like I know there's a big world out there and I'm trying to discover things that I don't know of. So I was really just connecting with like Luke Skywalker in that scene. So um yeah, I mean, as odd as it sounds in terms of like seating for this, it it was easy for me to pick that one over the other one, the Death
Yeah,
Star run. And the Death Star run, I mean, it's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And it was really cool seeing such of a scene back then. I mean, the technology that Lucasfilm used when they were originally creating, like they hadn't seen anything like that before. So to be able to do that with the special effects, with using models and everything, was extraordinary.
mm-hmm.
But like technology is one thing. How something resonates with you and hits you is something else, and that's why I'm going to go with the binary sunset scene.
Yeah, which there's a lot of things. Just when you say it, like Star Wars, right away. What that must be like. That's the sound that goes off in my head as I'm seeing,
That
the big Star Wars like logo or whatever.
yeah, I mean, I just remember too, like being a kid. I mean, in Texas when I was young, like laying in the back or laying on a floaty in our pool that we had, just looking out into the stars and thinking of like Star Wars and like thinking of my life in the same way. It's like I had that same feeling that Luke Skywalker was having. So yeah, just it resonated. That's long and short of it.
Mm-hmm. Which is awesome. So that we had an upset there. So, which I did not see coming until we talked about it more. Too bad we didn't catch everything from last week, but I learned a lot about. I didn't know it was in your wedding. I didn't know that's what you used for our intro on our edited version. So it just more and more got to. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I should have ranked that higher. But no, it was a nice underrated because I'd say
everyone likes a Cinderella story. Everyone wants like an underdog.
Yeah. So last matchup, we got the 2 seed Luke versus Vader Part 1, including the scene. No, I am your father.
Mm-hmm.
I said it right?
Yeah.
Not Luke, I'm your father.
I think people get that mixed up because of Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Because he says that. And in Tommy Boy, he's like, Luke, I am your father. Rah, rah, into the fan or whatever.
Yeah. So. Versus the 15th seed, which is. The scene, the second of the trilogy, the old Luke Skywalker versus Kylo Ren on that. On the Salt,
the projection
planet.
Yeah,
and we find out he was projecting himself across how many light years away.
Yeah,
and we were talking about how we both thought the same thing, or at least you said you caught on. The guy next to me, I was with, that we're watching with, like leaned over. He's like, "Don't you notice the sand isn't making marks?" I was like, "Oh, thanks, dude."
Yeah.
Because you see Luke doing all the dodging. They don't really clash sabers until at the very end. All of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, you're just like a ghost or something, an image."
Yeah.
But yeah, when you saw him like dancing around, you see Kylo Ren making footprints in this like salty sand surface. Well, Luke, when he jumped around, wasn't making any marks.
Yeah. And many times with filmography, like there's a lot of intention behind certain things. And I remember watching this and I'm like, there's a lot of focus on how the salt turns red when like kicked up. So you have the speeders that are flying through and it kicks up the red, because it's digging in. Footsteps you see the red underneath. And in that scene specifically, they focus at one point on Kylo Ren's foot in it, like shifting, and you see the red, and you're like, kind of, why are we looking at the foot? And then they show Luke Skywalker, and he kind of settles in, but there's no mark that's left, like to your point of what your friend was saying. And it's like, wait a minute, that means something. So as soon as they show that, I'm like, I don't think he's actually there. And sure enough, he wasn't. Now, my whole problem with this scene is that it is not true, in my opinion, to the character of Luke Skywalker.
No, not at all. You said we were agreeing that he would be there in person.
Because what we've learned is that the amount of force it takes to project yourself in that distance and everything, the product of it is like you likely die. You likely lose your life. So if Luke Skywalker is going to do this and willingly sacrifice himself to send this hologram image of himself or projection of himself, he would have just sent himself there in person if he's going to die anyways. And it would just be more meaningful and more powerful in terms of the message and what he's trying to represent by actually being there. Luke Skywalker would have been there in person to confront his nephew. He wouldn't have done a forced projection of himself with the same result of dying. So it annoyed me. Now the scene itself was kind of cool. The soundtrack was really good. the magnitude of the event was really cool. You know, you're building up to this moment. You see Luke Skywalker, he's now clean cut. He's like the Luke Skywalker that you remember from the past. You're like, oh, this is awesome. He's going up against all these like large AT-ATs, and whatever the newer version of is from these movies. And it's just him going up against them just to buy the Resistance some time. So that the magnitude of it was pretty awesome. But again, he would have been there in person versus a projection. So that's why I gave the nod to
Luke Vader Part 1.
Luke Vader Part 1. And also that was, I mean, number one most iconic twist in all movie history. So I mean, it's hard. That one's probably a number one seed in many people's book, as the biggest moment or scene in Star Wars. So it's going to be hard to beat that one. Oh, did I lose you? Oh, there you are.
Nope, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I kind of like barely 2 seconds and I was
glitched.
Back, so.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for sure with Empire Strikes Back scene. Yeah, there might be.
Just tell me if you see deja vu, then I'm going to start running.
All over again?
Yeah. All right. So that wraps up round 1. We're on to the next round. Who would that be? The Elite 8 then we got here. Next, so the matchup then would be Obi-Wan versus Anakin. Going up against Rey pulling Luke's lightsaber for the first time to fight Kylo Ren in the snow.
So Battle of Heroes versus Rey. I mean, and I'll try to push through these quicker because I've already kind of given my reasoning for everything.
Which by the way, your first round matches everything.
Okay.
So you're keeping consistent.
I'm consistent.
You're keeping consistent with your thoughts, and you're not all of a sudden throw a curveball.
I'm true to my word.
Where you're like, wait, I picked that last week. Like, no.
Oh, now you're putting the pressure on because now if I don't, then I'm inconsistent. I mean, I'm gonna go with Battle of Heroes because
yeah,
I know it gave me the goosebumps in that scene, but it's the Battle of Heroes. It's Anakin Skywalker versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's great score as well. I mean, one of the best scores, great scene. So yeah, Battle of Heroes, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Anakin Skywalker.
Okay. Next one, 5 seed versus 4 seed, which is 5 seed Order 66 scene in sequences, versus number 4 seed Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, Duel of Fates. I mean, almost, or for most people, number one soundtrack for Star Wars. It again, just so many things we haven't seen before. We had a true lightsaber duel, not just like smacking sticks against each other. Coordinated choreography, fantastic.
To this peak.
Yeah,
and getting what's his name to play is a Ray Park.
Ray Park playing Maul.
Maul, like his athleticism and the work. When you see the work ethic that he put in to be the first off, like seeing a Sith like this, acrobatic, like we're used to pretty much. At this point, it's just Palpatine with his Force lightning, walking around like an old man.
Yeah,
and then you got Vader, who's just a machine that walks clunky.
Yep.
When you get into this, you got Darth Maul doing jumps and flips and everything, and then let alone have a double lightsaber.
Yeah, we've never seen that.
Trying to teach him, who's never done anything like this, a double lightsaber dueling two Jedis, like the imagination, George Lucas. Wow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's I would have to go Duel of Fates, and just how cool and first times for all this. It was great. It was a good way to, and they used it for the trailers to really catch you as well. So yeah.
Yep.
Duel of Fates for sure.
Okay. Next matchup, we got Darth Vader taking his first breaths in his new suit, and then crushing everything in the room.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything leading up before the moment where he says no. Like we said, that's a little cringe, but
yeah.
Okay. That versus the 3 seed Luke versus Vader, part 2 of their fight. Revenge of Sith. Or no, Return of the Jedi. I mean,
Yeah. Oh man. See, this is where the consistency part's gonna. Because is this where I included the Padme death?
no, I said in the rules.
I know, not outside, but
Oh,
because I thought we talked about it, and that was part of my.
you're thinking of which one?
Yeah.
Now I can't remember. I know we talked about it and laughed about it, kind of how cringy that scene was.
Yeah, because I was just so upset that she died from her. She no longer had the will to live. Because I think you were talking about like introducing Luke and Leia for the first time too.
Yeah, because it's
But
just like, oh, it's a boy, it's a girl, Leia, and then right after that, she's like, protect him, Obi-Wan, or something. Or no,
yeah,
no, no, no. She says, there's still good in
they're
him.
still good in
I can
him.
feel it. And he's like, and then mumbles something, and then she like puts her hand in, and she just kind of falls,
Yeah,
And you're just like, you're telling me how you're just like, what the hell? It's
yeah.
like, because like the robot come by, it's like,
You just
first,
have two
it's like,
kids that are born, and you don't have a will to live. Like, if for anything, how about the two kids that you just bore? Like,
yeah, that's your new kind of purpose in
I have
life
two
is to
kids.
raise.
Oh, my will to live is gone because now I have two kids. Twins, Basil, twins.
Yeah.
Um, and what scene was that going up against?
Let's see, that was going against Luke Vader
Luke
part
Vader
two. Part
2.
two.
Okay, yeah, Luke Vader Part 2. That would be what I would
Okay.
choose.
Okay. So far, so good.
Okay, good.
If that was wearing you, I think it was because we included because I was like, okay, with Vader before. I mean, the whole mask putting on, but there was like, sequences of it going back to him and Padme.
Yeah.
Well, like he's getting put together, but you could tell like, well, she's in pain. Maybe she's feeling his pain as he's,
Yep.
practically turning into a machine for the most part.
Yep.
Um, but anyways, back on track here. So then the last matchup here of this round, we got uh, Luke versus Vader Part 1. Luke finding out Vader's
Yep.
father
Empire Strikes
is,
Back.
is versus your favorite scene, the binary sunset.
See, this should have been probably at least a final four. If I could go, I mean, obviously this is just the product of the bracket, so that's what it is. But I just don't want to diminish the magnitude of that scene by picking the binary sunset still, just because of its impression to me. I mean, most people would probably pick the Empire Strikes Back, the I Am Your Father part, and like logically so. I completely understand that. Because I would even put that scene as top 4, top 3. But just because of the binary sunset scene to me, I'm gonna go with binary sunset.
All right. Off to the next round. So far, so good. You're still consistent.
Final 4 now.
Final four. One seed, Battle of Heroes, and Obi-Wan versus Anakin, going up against Duel of the Fates, Phantom Menace. Two with the one, each one has their iconic score soundtrack that you just, ooh, which one? Which one do you like more?
Yeah, and I think it was because of just how new and the excitement that the Duel of Fate scene had brought to fans that I chose that one. Because again, to our point, like we've never seen a double-sided lightsaber. We've never seen choreography with lightsaber fighting as we did in this scene. Um like true
And there's one
Sith
more.
versus true Jedi fighting. There's one what?
There was one more key thing you mentioned on this. You said this sequence. Well, I guess they both do, but you said it was pretty pivotal point because this was the death of Qui-Gon Jinn,
Yeah.
where you said go down that
Oh,
what if alley,
yeah, for
what if
sure.
alley.
A Duel
If
of
he
Fate, I
was,
mean, that changed who was going to be the master for Anakin Skywalker, because it was going to be Qui-Gon for sure. And he is a far different Jedi in terms of theory and practice compared to Obi-Wan, even though Obi-Wan trained under Qui-Gon Jinn. But if you like go and read like is it Brotherhood, or there's a book that's about the relationship between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn early on in their master and apprenticeship, and they didn't really get along because difference of opinions and everything. So this really set the tone of what direction Anakin Skywalker would go in becoming a Jedi. So yeah, extremely pivotal for the fall of Darth Vader, or fall of Anakin Skywalker to become Darth Vader.
Going with that one then?
Yep, Duel of Fates.
Okay. Consistent still. And then I think now after viewership here, or us talking about it, and last week was
Binary Sunset.
Yeah, there you go.
Which Binary over, what did it defeat then?
Luke versus Vader Part 2.
Okay, yeah.
So leads us to the championship. Gee, I wonder who's going to win. You know, in hindsight, I thought I was a betting man.
You would have never put Binary Sunset as the winner, would you?
Yeah, no. If I you know what I should have done is like I could have my own kind of preference to these. Sure, I should have did like my own bracket like projections of what I think you were gonna pick, and see kind of like when you do a March Madness bracket, and at the end you're like, I got maybe 80% correct, but or you know.
Bring out the highlighter. Let's see how many greens you have versus yellows or pinks.
So yeah, Battle of Heroes versus the Duel Sunsets.
You mean the Duel of Fates versus Binary Sunset?
Oh yeah, no, Duel of Fates. Yeah, no, sorry. You're correct, sorry.
Yeah, Binary Sunset. I mean, both top notch. But yeah, I'm gonna go with
somebody's got to win.
Someone's got to win. We got a Cinderella story for sure. Small time college.
This is Mudge's bracket. Not everyone's going to be the same. We can't all think the same. You know, some scenes on different movies just hit you different. And like Mudge says, it's iconic to him as how he started watching Star Wars in the first place, and that's the first episode. And you know, like
I would agree. Like if someone would argue me on that, like that's not the best scene in Star Wars, I'd be like, you're right. That's not the best scene in Star Wars. But it's the scene that it means, what it means, and how it resonated. That's where the difference was for me. So yeah, man, Binary Sunset, that song, I love it. It makes me think Star Wars. If I hear that song, Star Wars, then I'm falling back in love with the childhood memory I have with the original trilogy. So
you said, what was it, like the hotel rooms and finding whatever channel had HBO?
Yeah,
playing Star Wars or something.
It was my dad, brother, and I. We were going to our cabin. And back in the day when we were young, when we would travel to our cabin in the UP, Michigan, we would first stay at a hotel called the Triangle Inn, or Triangle Motel. That was probably 20 minutes from our actual cabin. So we would stay there the night we would arrive, because our cabin doesn't have electricity, no running water, no indoor plumbing, and we always go up over Thanksgiving, so it's cold. So you don't really want to stay in the cabin that first night because you have to heat it up with a fire and everything. So we would stay the night in the Triangle Motel, and this one particular trip, we got there, and we're all getting ready for bed. My dad turns on the TV and he flips it to this channel, and it's playing Star Wars, and it was like the very beginning of what is now known as A New Hope. And I'm like, oh, what is this? And my dad's like, oh, this is Star Wars. Blah, blah, blah. And he was like kind of telling me a little bit about it. So we left it on, turn off all the lights. My dad and brother, they fall asleep, and I am just like glued to the TV, just watching the whole thing. And I remember when it ended, I was like, oh man, that was so good. That's probably my favorite movie I've ever seen, blah, blah. And then back in the day, like watching a movie on, just a TV channel, it'd be like, next on, let's just say it was like TBS, second installment of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. And I'm like, there's more? Like, there's more out there? I can watch more? I'm like, okay, well, I'm watching it. And this is late at night. I mean, the first one probably ended around 11 o'clock p.m. So sure as shit, I watched the second one. Watched it all the way through, and I'm like, oh damn, that one was better than the first one. Like Empire Strikes Back, holy shit, this bad guy is his father. Like, holy crap, how does this all end? And it was like, next on
Up next.
up next,
Next up.
the final installment. I'm like, there's another one.
No.
Yes, and no. And I was so excited, but I was so tired too, because now it's probably like 2 a.m. and I tried watching it. I ended up falling asleep during it, unfortunately. Not to say it was like not interesting. It was just I was tired. And I remember waking up the next morning and I was like, Dad, because it's around Thanksgiving, so Christmas is coming up as a kid. And I'm like, Dad, what I want for Christmas is I want the Star Wars movies because I want to watch. I need to finish it because there was no streaming services. And, you couldn't just randomly go watch a movie that was produced years ago unless you actually had the movies. So sure enough, I got the movie for Christmas. And I finally watched the whole thing and, loved it. So that was kind of my introduction to Star Wars. I was probably 9 or 10 years old. So
Little Michael.
Little Michael.
Falling in love with
Little Michael with his
love.
bowl cut, falling in love late at night to TBS, or it was probably like TNT, or I don't know, the Sci-Fi channel or something. But it was like the Triangle Motel, so they couldn't have had they probably didn't have Sci-Fi. They had limited channels.
Well, I know back then, like if it was a motel, I mean, a lot of them, whatever reason.
Oh, they had like HBO and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of those places did have HBO.
Yeah, so maybe it was like HBO or something. I don't know.
I would bet on it. But
or TBS.
regardless.
Or TBS. For some reason, I keep wanting to say TBS, but who knows?
Yeah, very possible. I mean, to this day, when I had Sling with all the different cable channels, I mean, God, it could be any channel nowadays could play the Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's on TNT, and then next you know it's on Sci-Fi, and then like you said, it could be on TBS. Next thing you know, it's like just airs wherever people want to buy the rights to it for that time slot.
Right.
Or I don't know how that works.
I swear, at least once a day, every day, there's a Star Wars movie, some kind of Star Wars movie that plays on one of the channels. There always is. I feel like it. All right. Well, so that would be my bracket. Maybe we should flip the switch next week and see what you would do. But we will also be talking episodes 3 and 4 of Visions, the Ninth Jedi episodes, where they'll have 8 episodes total for the season. So we'll be halfway through after next week. So looking forward to diving into that content, learning more about these mysterious bad guy / good guy characters we don't know. But yeah, just excited in general to have more content to talk about. So looking forward to it. And we'll wrap it up. So again, if you're listening to us right now, hit that subscribe button, like, download, comment, rate, review, share, all the above. We greatly appreciate it. As a reminder, once we hit 500 subscribers, we will be doing a Theory Saber lightsaber prize giveaway. One of these sabers in one of these boxes over here. It can be yours. Just make sure you subscribe to our channel and that you're public. So once we hit 500, we will have that drawing to give it away. Not going to want to miss out on it. Again, not affiliated with Star Wars Theory or Theory Sabers at all. This is our own doing. We purchased it with the intent to give it away as a prize. But yeah, good. Again, we talked about VADER II earlier today. So again, giving his praise. We love his content, love his sabers. Just want to help his channel out. So subscribe to him as well. He's very knowledgeable.
Which is another fact is he had trouble getting any sort of funding and rights initially.
Yeah.
So pretty much all of what you see as the product between the first and second episode, he funded all that out of his own pocket. Made, we said what's majorly helped him is his personal podcast and the people that support him, and also support him by buying his product.
Yeah,
which is amazing. As much as complimented, because he's got a couple of them now, more than a couple.
Dude, and they're far better sabers than like the
other ones that you
Black Series ones I get, or like the ones you can get at like Disney parks and stuff like the sound quality, the brightness of the saber, awesome. And you can duel with them and not really worry about them breaking. And if they do, their customer service is top notch. They'll get you back to where you were. So they'll take care of you.
So yeah, props to him and everything, because
Yeah, for
apparently
sure.
all that funding came out pretty much out of his pocket to create the team. You know, he kind of, if you want to call it, the CEO of his own kind of entrepreneurship of creating this content and hiring the right people to do it. So definitely give him some love.
He loves Star Wars and he loves his fans. So, like Bogey said, just go subscribe, go honor him,
Go check him out.
go check him out
for sure.
So, thanks Theory Sabers, thanks Star Wars Theory for being an inspiration to our channel as well. So, with that, have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. We look forward to talking some more next week. So until then, as always, may the Force be with you.
Thanks for calling. This is Han Solo, and I'm going to be keeping you company for the next few hours right here on the Midnight Shift. Something's down.